All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate you carving time out of your busy days to be with us. My name is Adam Paoli, and I am the founder and lead wealth planner at Cultiva Wealth Planning Partners. And for those of you who don't know us, Cultiva Wealth is a nationally recognized wealth management and financial planning firm, and we specialize in helping families who are looking to turn their assets into sustainable income to last them for the rest of their lives. The team at Cultiva Wealth, my team, is very passionate about helping people. And as a part of our process, which we call the Path to Prosperity, we dedicate time to educate our clients and their family and friends. And we use several different mediums to do so. You might have noticed on social media, we're doing a lot of quick tips. We're creating a white paper on retirement challenges that you should be seeing out here shortly, as well as a series of webinar that we're calling What You Need to Know, that we host alongside pertinent subject matter experts. And we're very excited, and allow me to welcome you to this next series of What You Need to Know, focusing on Social Security benefits. Our format is going to be a question and answer format with some of the most frequent questions that are on the minds of our clients and that we get often in our planning conversations. And Social Security planning has enough complexity to warrant quite a few questions. So we are very excited to bring you one of the most renowned experts in our field on Social Security. And I believe we are all in very much so for a treat. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest speaker today. Mary Beth Franklin has extensive experience as a financial journalist, specializing in Social Security, Medicare, and retirement income, all topics that are very pertinent to our clients. Like the team at Cultiva Wealth, she is passionate about educating people on Social Security issues, and is a tremendous resource and a very generous resource, not only to us, but to our entire industry. I've had the pleasure of hearing Mary Beth present on multiple occasions, and each time seems like it's better than the last time around. So I'm very excited for Mary Beth to join us today. Mary Beth, how are you?
I'm doing great, Adam. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to spread this important word about such an important program.
Well, we are excited for the opportunity, and we're glad that you're excited as well. Question number one. We often hear that our clients are considering starting Social Security early out of concerns of either Social Security going broke or the potential for significant changes to Social Security that would negatively impact them. What would you say to our clients who are expressing those fears?
Well, I understand their concerns, but the idea of grabbing Social Security benefits out of fear rather than need is a bit like selling your stock portfolio in a down market. The only thing you have guaranteed is you have locked in a loss, because depending on your full retirement age, which could be 66 or 67 or someplace in between, depending on your birth year, if you claim benefits as soon as possible at age 62, your benefits are permanently cut by 25% or more. And if in a worst case scenario, which by the way, I do not think will happen, if Social Security was facing a situation where benefits had to be cut because not enough money was coming in, and you had already chosen to take reduced benefits early, and those cuts are applied across the board, your smaller benefit just got even smaller. So my feeling is everyone's Social Security decision is personal based on their situation, but this is an incredibly valuable benefit that's guaranteed for the rest of your life. Don't you want to make the most of it and fit it into your overall retirement income plan?
Absolutely. And we often find that if we're making decisions out of fear, they tend not to be the best ones. And it's no different when it comes to Social Security. Let's move on to question two. Given the recent changes in tax law, we've been having a lot of conversations, very specifically with things like inherited IRAs and the timing by which you have to withdraw assets out of that. That has caused some complexity for us, and has really brought about some more conversations about the little known options of suspending Social Security benefits. Would you mind talking through some of the mechanics of that and when you find it might be most beneficial?
Mm-hmm. There are really three what I would call do-over options for Social Security. Generally, if you claim early, those benefits are going to be permanently reduced. But let's say you decide, gee, that was a mistake, I wish I could undo it. If you are within the first 12 months of claiming, you have the right to change your mind and withdraw your application for benefits. But that means you have to pay back any benefits you have received. And if anybody else is collecting on your records, such as a spouse or maybe a minor dependent child, you have to pay those benefits back too. Now, why would you want to do that? It wipes the slate clean as if you have never claimed Social Security. So at a later date, when you're older, it would be as if you're claiming benefits for the first time and you get a bigger amount. Let me give you an example of who might want to do that. Let's say you have a husband who's the main breadwinner and he claims early just because he can, and he's okay with taking that 25% cut. But it didn't occur to him that if he dies first, his wife, his widow, is going to get a smaller survivor benefit, because a survivor benefit can be worth up to 100% of what that deceased worker was collecting or entitled to collect at time of death. So if he claims early and gets a smaller benefit, he is leaving his widow with a smaller benefit. So in that case, he may want to undo that decision. Another option is if you miss that 12-month window, you can't withdraw your benefits anymore, but now you have another opportunity. You have to wait till your full retirement age or later, and then you can suspend your benefits. The good news is you don't pay anything back. The bad news is those checks you've been getting stop. But in the meantime, now they start earning delayed retirement credits that will increase that amount by 8% a year up until age 70, and your benefits can automatically turn on at 70 at a higher level.
I like how you phrase that as the redo, especially when you consider the first question, right? When we make decisions early, and often out of fear, or and I've often seen this when clients, have a death in the family or have something traumatic that happens and says, I think I just want to go grab that now. But it's good to know that there are these redo options, and very specifically, as I mentioned before, we're having a lot of conversations with our clients who are inheriting IRA and really saying, how do I integrate my Social Security with the rest of my income, with not only a focus on making sure I maximize it, but also making sure I'm making the best tax decision possible.
Let me throw out a third strategy, and
Sure.
stick with me. It's a little complicated. I talked about the do-over where you withdraw your benefits and pay it back within the first 12 months of claiming. The second option was suspending your benefits at full retirement age or later. You don't pay anything back, but now they start earning delayed retirement credits. There's a third option. Anyone who claims Social Security benefits after their full retirement age can request up to 6 months of retroactive benefits in a lump sum. So let me give you an example. Maybe you're 67 years old, you haven't claimed Social Security yet. You could claim now, and because you're a year past your full retirement age, you could say, I want to claim benefits and give me 6 months of retroactive benefits. Give me 6 months in a lump sum and pay me going forward as if I claimed it 66 and 6 months rather than 67. People who are looking for quick cash flow, but they also want a bigger benefit later, could claim benefits, get that 6 months retroactive in a lump sum, and then say, and now I want to suspend my benefits. And then the remainder will continue growing 8% a year. So you could get a chunk of money up front and then still defer the rest of your benefits for a bigger amount later.
Yeah, and that could become incredibly helpful. We have a lot of clients that tend to be relocating, given as we're here in Illinois, the status of Illinois. So that might be a great strategist to free up some short-term liquidity as they're looking at housing transition. So I think that's a great example. Thank you so much for sharing all those redos. Talked a little bit about survivor benefit rules, so I want to transition to that now. We find that one of the most misunderstood and missed opportunities in Social Security planning occurs with survivor benefit rules. Can you talk through some of the strategies that you recommend our clients to consider to maximize the amount of survivor benefit, specifically for couples who are looking to coordinate their benefits, as well as for widows and widowers?
Right, absolutely. Well, first of all, retirement benefits that you earn on your own work record represent one pot of money, and benefits you may receive as a surviving spouse is another pot of money. If you're entitled to both it's possible you may be able to claim one type of benefit first and switch to the other one later if it was bigger, and then collect the bigger one for the rest of your lives. So the thing to understand is a survivor benefit is worth 100% of what my deceased spouse was collecting at time of death if I am at least full retirement age at the time. I can get it sooner, but it would be a smaller amount.
Mhm.
So I say to married couples, when you're deciding on what your Social Security claiming strategy is, think of it as a household rather than two individual decisions. And the main goal of married couples is, how do I maximize the survivor benefit? I do that by having at least one spouse, preferably the one with the bigger benefit, which traditionally tends to be the husband, who traditionally tends to be a couple years older. Have him wait until age 70 to collect the biggest benefit possible. In the meantime, the wife, who might have the smaller benefit and who may be a little younger, can go ahead and claim her reduced benefit early if she's not working, or at her full retirement age if she is. It brings some money into the household and takes away a bit of the sting of having the other spouse wait until 70. At 70, he collects his biggest benefit possible, and actuarially, the husband is likely to die first. At that point, the widow, who has been collecting her smaller retirement benefit, is now entitled to a survivor benefit. And even though she collected a smaller retirement benefit first, and that retirement benefit was permanently reduced, it has no impact on her survivor benefit if she is at least full retirement age at the time. So that is the great strategy for how married couples can maximize their Social Security benefit over their lifetime. You're probably dealing with two retirement benefits and ultimately a survivor benefit for the one left behind.
Yeah, I think it's great advice to consider those as one package deal as opposed to two individual pieces. We often see clients that are starting to plan for their retirement and they just make the assumption that they're going to retire at the same time, claim the benefit at the same time, and just kind of make a one swoop decision. But it's very much so important to coordinate those two benefits and look at not only the short-term impact of that, but that survivorship benefit, especially when looking at the actuarial difference of an individual life versus two lives.
Right.
So thank you very much for that. Let's transition to, I think one of the things that I find always most intriguing about Social Security. The date January 1st, 1954 is a very important date impacting Social Security benefits. Can you talk to the impact of that date, both on ex-spouses as well as what people call the disappearing claiming strategy?
Right. Okay, let's repeat that date because it's worth repeating. January 1st, 1954. If you were born on or before that date, meaning this year in 2021, you would be turning 68 or older, you may be entitled to an extra claiming strategy that nobody else can do anymore. If you are a currently married couple and one spouse goes ahead and claims Social Security benefits, the other spouse, who was born before that magic date of January 1st, 1954, can say to Social Security, don't pay me my retirement benefit. Let it keep growing by 8% a year up until age 70. But in the meantime, because I was born before this important date, and because my spouse has already claimed his or her benefit, I can say I want to file a restricted claim for spousal benefits. That means pay me only as a spouse 50% of what my husband or my wife's full retirement age benefit is. I am not collecting my own benefit. My own benefit continues to grow. And then at 70, I have to remember to actually claim my own maximum benefit. This is available to currently married couples and, in some cases, eligible divorced spouses. An eligible divorced spouse is someone who was married at least 10 years before divorcing and who is currently single. If you are that situation, you're an eligible divorced spouse and you were born before January 1st, 1954, you may be able to claim spousal benefits on your ex. And here's the difference for spouses, divorced spouses. It doesn't matter if your ex is claimed or not. As long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years, in addition to all those other rules, you can claim as an independently entitled ex-spouse. Give me half of my ex benefit. He doesn't even need to know. It doesn't take away from his benefit. And if he has remarried, it does not affect his current family.
Yeah, I think that's an important differentiation. I think very few people know that date. I think they've heard, isn't there something that's available out there? And often when they start digging in, if they've heard of it, they're not well aware of the date. But the vast majority of our clients, I don't think are aware of that strategy at all and don't realize that there may still be dollars left on the table for them.
Let me give you a personal example. I was
Sure.
born in December 1954, so I missed the cutoff date. But my husband is 2 years older than I am. When I turned 66 last December, I went ahead and claimed my Social Security benefits, which horrify a lot of people. And I said, because that now triggers the spousal benefit from my husband, he went ahead and filed a restricted claim for spousal benefits, gets half of my full retirement age amount while his continues to grow. And then when he turns 70, he will collect the maximum benefit. And should he predecease me, I will then step up to the larger survivor benefit.
Yeah. I'm surprised that anybody was scared by that. I would imagine by now everybody would know that you know what you're doing, so that shouldn't scare anybody. When it comes to these complexities, we've talked about a lot of different, formats and suspension rules, things like disappearing claiming strategies. It's clear that Social Security benefits can be fairly complex, especially when we're factoring in spousal benefits, ex-spouse benefits, offsets for public employees who receive pensions based on where they work and if they didn't pay FICA taxes, et cetera. And a few of our clients have reported that when they call into the Social Security office, they receive conflicting information from the agents there. So what do you recommend as the best way to get the most accurate information out of the SSA? And are there any outside resources that you recommend?
Well, bottom line, calling Social Security is a bit like calling the IRS. You might get a right answer, you might not. Let's face it, all government employees have had a really tough time doing their jobs remotely over the past year. But keep in mind that a Social Security rep's job is not to create your claiming strategy for you. It's to file the paperwork once you have decided the best claiming strategy for you. Your client should be talking to you at Cultiva Wealth about the best strategy and then file the paperwork. The Social Security website, ssa.gov, is a wealth of information for educating yourself about the type of benefits, what you would be entitled to at various ages. I highly recommend people take a look at that. Because of COVID, Social Security is still working remotely. You cannot go in person in most cases to file for your Social Security benefit, and you don't need to, because guess what? When you file online, the questions are pre-populated, and depending on your answer, you're going to get the right recommendation. For example, if you're born before 1954 and you go online to file for benefits and you note that you're married, it's going to say to you if you're entitled to your own retirement benefit and that of a spouse. Do you want to claim just as a spouse? If you go in person in the old days and got a rep who didn't know that, you might have missed an opportunity. The computer seldom screws up. So I think that's a good thing. If you want to learn more about strategies based on your age and marital status, like I just discussed, you can buy a copy of my ebook, which is called Maximizing Social Security Retirement Benefits, and it's available at www.maximizingsocialsecuritybenefits.com.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous resource. Our team here has read that book more than a few times, and we certainly find that there's a lot of value out of that, and certainly appreciate that, Mary Beth. And I think one thing that you touched on that I couldn't agree with more, that Social Security planning is very much so a personal discussion and a personal decision, because Everybody's income is different. The age disparity between spouses is different. There are so many individual factors that when you look to the general audience and the general media, and when I say that, I mean everybody besides you, Mary Beth, a lot of that advice is generally right, but individually wrong. So one thing that we recommend and we offer through our planning process is a complimentary Social Security analysis where we will actually plug in your benefit that you would pull directly from the SSA website. And we give us tools to be able to analyze that decision and show mathematical numbers behind if we start now, if we do it at full retirement, if we start one versus earlier, and find a more optimization number that not only comes with the best dollar amount, but also optimizes your financial plan. Because as Mary Beth has mentioned, this is a very critical piece of most individuals, especially those who are retiring, part of their financial plans. And so maximizing this is critical, but it shouldn't be an independent decision. It should be made in context with the rest of the overall plan. And so for those that have questions on this, if you'd like to see more of this type of analysis and understand more what this looks like, we'd be glad to have this conversation with you. Certainly just feel to reach out in the comment section, or you can certainly respond to the email that you got when you received this. So before I get to the next slide, I just wanted to say thank you very much again, Mary Beth. We couldn't really thank you enough for all the time that you've given us today. And we appreciate all the insights that you have shared with our clients. And again, I couldn't recommend Mary Beth's book more. For those who want to dig deeper and really dig into the details, feel free to order that book and we'll make that available to you. Or if you just don't want to do the reading and want to lean on those who have already read it, our team is glad to act as a sounding board as you make these important retirement decisions. The team at Coltiva Wealth, we say this all the time, we have helped hundreds of families retire successfully, and you're only going to do it once. So why don't you lean on our team, help us to help you get it right. Everybody, again, thank you again for taking this time. Our goal is going to be to continue to do whatever is necessary to help our clients and their families and their friends look to their future with anticipation and not anxiety. We're glad to be a sounding board on this topic as well as all sorts of other topics. And one thing you'll be seeing here soon is going to be our 5 retirement mistakes piece. We're going to be distributing that through social media and directly to our clients as well. So we recommend that you reach out on that. And for those that are not so familiar with us, you have the ability to request an introduction kit to learn more about our firm, learn more about our Path to Prosperity process. And so we recommend you reach out to us at what you see here. Go directly to our website to request that information. You can email us at www.coltivawealth.com, a direct email there, or contact us at coltivawealth.com. Mary Beth, thank you so much again for all your time. We really appreciate it. And everybody, thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Thanks, Adam.